Hi everyone, my name's Tim, and today I'm going to be talking to you about Dungeon Academy Tourney of Terror. This is by Madeline Rue, and the art is by Tim Probert. This is the second in the Dungeons and Dragons Dungeon Academy series. So I read the first one earlier this year called No Humans Allowed. And this is books for kind of late tweens, early teens, about D&D monsters who are at a school learning to be D&D monsters. And one thing that is great is all of these characters are atypical. So you have a kobold that thinks it's related to a dragon. You have a mimic that can only turn into non-damaging items. You have an owlbear that's a vegan, and then you have the main character, Zeladora Steelstrike, Zelly for short. She is a human that has been adopted by two minotaurs. So she wears fake horns and a fake tail. Where's the fake tail? There it is. To pretend to be a minotaur to fit into the school, because this school they learn that humans and adventurers are evil and bad, and this school is about training them to go into dungeons. There is also a dragon here. This is a new character called Tavian Truescale, who is a dragon, but he doesn't behave like a dragon. The first book, which was called No Humans Allowed, I read earlier this year, and I think I gave it 4 stars. And I really liked the characters, and I thought the plot was a little bit lacking. This, I think, is the other way round. There is a lot more plot going on. So in the first book, they fight a necromancer, and in this book, the necromancer's back, and there's more stuff going on. There's big fights with skeletons. Skeletons are the main bad guys. Big skeleton golems and stuff like that. The art in here is fantastic. Great big storm of skeleton stuff. So there's a lot more plot going on, but I think the characters miss out because of it. So I think you already know that these monsters are atypical from normal monsters, but they now have a friendship group. So none of them have as much personal conflict as they did in the first book. They're all happy, and I'm happy that they're happy, but it means that there's less drama, there's less dramatic tension. Zelly, her friends know that she's a human, and there's nothing. That was such a source of drama in the first book, and there's none of that in this book. Hugo is an owlbear, but he's shunned because he's vegan. There's no issue with him being vegan in this book. Generally, the characters don't go through that much in this. They don't have a ton to do because the plot is happening. Snabbler gets quite a bit because throughout the book he talks about dragons, and that's where the Tourney of Terror comes in, because the Dungeon Academy flumps, as they're called, there's a tournament with the Waterdeep Dragons, where this guy comes in. I thought, I'm a big fan of kind of tournaments and games and sports and things like that. Goblet of Fire is probably my favourite Harry Potter book, certainly up there. I thought this was going to be a really rich, cool thing that's happening, and you've got the plot with the necromancers happening in the background. That's certainly how it feels when you read the blurb on the back. That's not the case. I think this is misnamed. The Tourney of Terror is set dressing. You don't see any of the events happening, and it has no impact on the plot. The only reason the Tourney of Terror happens is for dragons to turn up. And even then, the dragons don't have that part of the plot. Tavian, it has a big part of the plot. And Tavian, he gets the most character stuff happening. But it just... they don't add a lot. But I love the adventure in this that they go on. I do love the plot. I think it's really interesting. I like how they have to do it themselves because the teachers are so busy arguing over things. They find out about the school. They find out about what is going on with the necromancer and what they're looking to do. This does end on a huge cliffhanger, I would say. There is not a resolution at the end of this book, which I always think is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it's like, oh, I'm desperate to read the next one. I want to know what happens. And on the other hand, it's like you kind of cop out, right? You just don't write an ending, and then that's a cliffhanger. So, also there was one thing that happens in this where I thought something quite dangerous and really interesting was going to happen, and I was like, oh, I can't believe, oh my goodness, that's going to happen. And then it didn't. Something less interesting happened. And I was like, okay. For me, I think if the more dangerous thing happened, it wouldn't make the book adult, not by any stretches. No. But I think the stakes would be a lot higher and a lot more personal. While what actually happens is bad, but it's not as bad as it could be. I'm going to keep that kind of vaguish for spoiler reasons. But I like Zelly as a hero. I like the fact she's really brave and she's good at swinging a sword about, and she's pretty smart, but she's not the smartest. Bauble, the mimic, is the smartest, and you see Bauble's skills. And you see Zelly's skills and how Zelly sees Tavian, because Tavian has a secret. And Zelly learn that secret quite quickly, and they kind of share this, and it brings them closer together. And then when crazy plot stuff happens, you have that more personal stakes in it. The art is, again, fantastic. You get a bit more a dragon lore. So that's the big black dragon. That is head of the dragon school. You get a bit of dragon lore. You still get lots of D&D monsters. Probably not as many in this one, but I do like how they have a mind flayer as the camp counselor, and it just wipes all their memories, all their bad memories away, which does mean that nobody remembers that Zelly and her friends saved everyone in the first book, which is interesting, and I wish they'd kind of done a bit more with it. For me, this is between 3 and 4 stars. The last one was between 4 and 5, and this one's between 3 and 4. So the last one I kind of downgraded to 4. I think this one I'll keep at 4. I think it's name. The name doesn't tell you what is actually happening in the book, and I think the plot being driven forward means that we see less of the characters that we enjoy. One of my favourite parts in this, it happens a few times, is they're all just so positive to each other. It's a really good book about friendship, and how they're like, one character's like, oh, I made a mistake, and oh, it's all my fault, I shouldn't have done that. And they're like, no, it's okay. Like, people make mistakes. Monsters make mistakes. It's okay. We got you. No matter what happens, we're on your side and we've got you. Which I quite liked, and there should be more of that in books. So that is Dungeon Academy Tourney of Terror. 4 stars from me, but more 3.5 to 4. But I definitely want to see what happens next. Anyway, thanks. Bye.